Hello and welcome to the Observed Conversations channel. I am VR Sampath, retired IPS, aka Sampath Ramanujan MFA. For more details, click the link below. Please subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you. Let's get into the topic for the day. Today's question is, does life have meaning and purpose? To answer this question, we have to look at different layers of life. The first and the foremost purpose of life or humanity is not known, either in the present or in the past, either to those who are alive or to the dead, including the past masters of life who spoke or wrote about life, doctrines, scriptures, and religious or spiritual discourses. No one knew and no one knows. Now let us examine the tertiary layer. We will come to the secondary layer later. The tertiary layer consists of the substitute layer for the first unknown purpose and certain others. So when we don't know something, then we substitute it. The all-knowing masters substituted the unknown with an unknowable, that is God. On the one hand, God was declared to be unknowable, and on the other, you should make every effort to know Him, to be devoted to Him, and strive to reach Him, whatever that means. A whole lot of institutions and activities, including commercial and economic, were created to keep humanity busy. Guru is one such instance, to make people forget about the primary question. Similarly, self-discovery, and self-realization were other substitute purposes. Those who had doubts and misgivings about the question of God could take up these substitute preoccupations for life. In the tertiary layer, there is a sub-level. 99% of humanity spends whole of their lifetimes here. The layer or level of society, culture, and family. Humanity has all the three to live in. For instance, a family man has limited exposure to the society and culture to the extent that he is able to sustain his main preoccupation, that is family. He raises a family that's leaving a carbon copy of his DNA and maintain them until he grows old and dies. He does think about the other things in life, but only briefly, and returns to his familiar preoccupation called family. Take another instance of a politician. His preoccupation is society. He thinks about politics, people, welfare, etc. He has a family, but he attends to it briefly, but returns to his favorite activities of politics. And so it goes. So humanity doesn't know the primary purpose of its existence. It only has a substitute purpose of life in God and self, and a next level of family, etc. Then comes the secondary purpose and meaning of life. We spoke about the primary and the tertiary. So the secondary also represent duties and responsibilities. Survival, procreation, and relating to others, the society, and the reality as presented to you. But the most important thing to deal with at this level is thought. Thoughts are given. You cannot reduce or get rid of thoughts, as yoga masters claim. An implied purpose here could be to reduce thought to its intended purpose of survival and relating. Presently, thoughts have come to occupy most of our space, mind space, work space, and so on. The products in the market are thought products. Science and technology is primarily thought produced. Sex is thought induced. Body is heavily influenced by mind, so much so its innate intelligence remains buried forever. Every aspect of modern life is thought dominated. This is an unnatural state of affairs. Let's understand thoughts and nature of questions. Thought is a burden. It doesn't come from creation, but from a source external to creation. Secondly, thought is dead. It is a secondary source of knowledge at best, the first being intuition. Anything dead is a burden. By filling our minds and brains with this dead wood, it is what is weighing us down. Creation cannot help us here because that's not the origin of thought. Then what is? The origin of thought, as per UG, is humanity itself. The past humanity, the dead humanity. Their aspirations and sensory experiences have had energy which is indestructible. They simply hang in the air eternally. They try to enter the experiencing structure of the living in the form of thoughts. The brain of the living, acting as antenna, suck thoughts from the atmosphere and fill the memory rolls and start controlling the executive functions of the brain, which in turn affects the body and its environment, our actions, relationships, and more. And that's how we came to live a life of thoughts. Dead thoughts, controlling our life, rendering it fruitless. Even creation cannot handle this man-made condition. Hence, it's possible creation will be liberated from this man-made labyrinth once thoughts are reduced. Just like the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, you reduce pumping it into the atmosphere in the first place. That is why it makes sense to get rid of the past, whether it is society, culture, or heritage. They become a burden on not only ourselves but for creation also. We choke creation with our thoughts and questions. Handling our questions will be the first step. Questions produce answers, which in turn produce more questions. UG says people have been asking questions, getting answers, and not satisfied, seek more sources to get their answers from. This is an unending process of thought. He says people go from one master to another and ask the same questions. Nowhere do they stop and say, I am done with my questions. I got the answer. This is because there are no answers. In fact, Q and A is one thought facing the other. Both are dead. UG suggests the best way of handling questions and therefore thought is not to seek an answer, but to allow it to burn itself. That way the energy gets spent. The thought sphere clears to that extent. Just compare this with banning use and throw plastic covers all over the world. Similarly, creation may be thankful to us if we cleaned up the thought sphere one at a time, all the 8 billion of us. What will happen? Creation enters our life once we lift the barrier of thought. That will lead to the miracle of life, the enlightenment, the self-realization, or the Vishvarupa Darshana of creation. Thank you.